All right. We have a new electric car which is now available to order if you're in the UK or Europe. And I believe this car is coming to the US, Australia, Canada, and a range of other markets soon. So what are the details? What are the specs? How much does it cost? Should you consider buying one? Well, I'll give you my opinion. Here it is. Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Thank you for subscribing. Great to have your support. And thank you to those of you who have subscribed, joined us on Patreon and supported the channel financially. Even just a little bit makes a big difference. Makes it possible for me to do these videos and make this channel. So what car are we talking about? The Renault Megane E-Tech. Now, interestingly, I just made a video yesterday which was talking about the fact that Renault may in fact have new battery technology coming within 2 years using silicon anodes, which provide the ability to charge the battery in only 5 minutes, right? These silicon anodes have a much higher energy density than graphene, meaning that energy density could also be improved. But most importantly, right, if you could charge your car in 5 minutes, well, that would be game changing. Now, I'll put a link in the description below to the video I made about that new battery technology, and it gives you some history of silicon anodes and how they may actually make a huge change to the electric vehicle industry and the perception of electric cars worldwide. Massive news there. Now, what about this car? It won't have silicon anodes in the battery technology. It'll be using lithium ternary batteries, and it will come with either a 40 kilowatt hour size battery or a 60 kilowatt hour size battery. The car is not very big. It's smaller than a BYD Atto 3, the car that I've ordered. It's 4.2 meters long, 1.5 meters tall. So it's sort of a similar length to a Toyota Corolla. However, it's not too bad in terms of the scales. It's 1,725 kilos. Not lightweight, of course, but not all that heavy compared to some other electric cars, namely BMW's 3 Series electric, which apparently is like 2.4 tons, even though it's going to have a smaller interior than this car. Now, there's quite a bit of boot space, 440 litre boot. Now, to give you some context, a Volkswagen Golf has a boot space that's around about 350 litres, so it's going to give you about 90 litres more versus a Volkswagen Golf. You can actually tow with this car as well. It's rated for towing 900 kilos. What about performance? Well, it has a 160 kilowatt motor, which is 215 horsepower, and it comes with 300 newton meters of torque. Top speed is 160 kilometers an hour, which is around about 100 miles an hour. It'll do 0 to 62 miles an hour in 7.4 seconds. That's 0 to 100 for you Aussies. So it's not really a rocket, but it's not slow. So what's the range? Well, range apparently is 186 miles for the smaller 40 kilowatt hour pack and 294 miles for the larger 60 kilowatt hour pack. Now, I don't think it's really going to give you 294 miles of range for a 60 kilowatt hour size pack, but you never know. I guess it's possible. But I would say the most likely scenario is 250 miles or 400 kilometers of range for that bigger battery pack. Now, you can apparently option this car with 22 kilowatt AC onboard charging, which means you'll be adding around 100 kilometers of range in 1 hour. What about fast charging? DC fast charging for 130 kilowatt. So not really anything like what you're going to get in a Taycan, an Ioniq 5, or even a Tesla, but it's still not too bad. You should be able to charge the battery to around 50% in approximately 15 minutes. What about prices? Well, we've just heard what they are. £36,000 in the UK, where electric cars are usually more expensive than they are in other countries. It comes in 3 different trim levels. And apparently for this price, you will get a 5-meter charging cable thrown in, along with keyless entry and a broad range of safety assistance systems as standard. Those systems include autonomous emergency braking that can automatically stop the car if the system detects a hazard to which the driver has not responded, and of course lane keeping assistance. Now, I want to point out that regardless of trim level, you've got the 3 trim levels, but all of them come with the same exact motor, which is the 215 horsepower motor with 300 newton meters of torque. That's 130 kilowatt, by the way, in the metric standard. So this gives you an idea on price. Apparently it's going to cost around 40,000 euros in Europe. The US apparently pricing is looking at around about 45,000 US dollars, which is not exactly cheap, is it? But that is for the bigger battery pack version. Now, personally, I've got to say, I think it's a little bit expensive, but you know, that's the way it's going right now in the UK and Europe as well, which is going to give the Chinese companies a really big opportunity to come in there and take away some sales. I mean, they can provide cars similar to this for around about 20% less money. You've got to think about them, right? And a lot of people are doing that right now. A lot of people are voting and saying, yep, we want an MG. We'll take it. Give us an electric car for a price that we can afford. MG, if they're going to give one of them to us, then we'll take it. Now, there's other Chinese brands bringing electric cars to the UK, Europe, Australia, everywhere else as well. So there's going to be a lot of competition for Renault. However, I've got to say with this Megane, it looks great. Honestly, you can't fault the looks. It's the kind of car that people want right now. That said, it is fairly small. Like, it's definitely a fair bit smaller than even a Tesla Model 3. Not really much different in terms of interior space to something like, say, the BYD Atto 2, which is the BYD EA1 or the BYD Dolphin. Their electric car, which I made a video about showing you the interior size of that car. And that car is probably going to cost around 30 to 40% less than this car. Now, sure, this does look better than the EA1, no doubt about it. It's definitely the kind of style that people want right now. But that said, if you're concerned about how much you spend on a car, and I personally think you don't want to really spend more than you need to, then that's worth considering. The other thing to keep in mind, though, is that even though this is not a big car, it's got, right, for example, the exterior dimensions are actually very similar to the Toyota Corolla, but its interior space is way bigger. For example, right, Toyota Corolla, what's the boot size? 230 litres. This 440. So the boot size is nearly double that of a Toyota Corolla, but the exterior dimensions are very similar. That's one of the things you've got to keep in mind. When you buy an electric car, generally the interior space is quite a lot bigger than a comparable internal combustion engine vehicle. Now, what I want to know is what you think. Would you consider buying one of these for 45,000 US dollars with that bigger battery pack, with that bigger range, about 400, probably 450 kilometers of range for 45,000 US dollars? I think maybe just a little bit too expensive, but that said, probably within 12 months or so, the prices might actually start to come down for these kind of cars as more and more competition starts hitting the market. Now, if you want to know what that more competition is, well, this is the channel to stay subscribed to. Make sure you click the icon notification bell to get the videos in your feed, because what I'm going to be doing, right, is giving you comparisons like this. Once we see more and more models come to market, I'll be able to provide you guys with lists, and I'll say, okay, for your money, this is the car you can get. This versus this, which one would you pick? And I'll tell you my verdict on them. Now, currently, right now, I personally think that I would be holding off ordering this car because of the price. I think it's a little bit higher than it should be. And I'd be waiting maybe 6 months to see what other models come to the market in Europe and the UK, where this is obviously going on sale now. But if you need a car right now, you don't have a car, then this certainly would be a good option. So just to sum it up, 3 different models, 2 different battery pack sizes, a 40 kilowatt hour pack and a 60 kilowatt hour pack. Are they LFP batteries? No, they are not LFP, not lithium iron phosphate. They are lithium ternary batteries. But that said, I've got to say, Renault have made an exceptionally good looking car, and it will be exciting to see this car come here in Australia, come to the US, come to many different markets worldwide. Whether that'll happen this year or next, I don't know, but it's certainly going to become a global car for the company. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.